recording. Oh, perdón, hearings. Hola.
We return you to your regularly scheduled
Your
program.
regularly scheduled program. Okay. Un breve anuncio, brief announcement. Buenos días y bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Sí. Yeah, this is it's recounted for those who are watching later, because we do have a few people out with appointments. There is a huge issue with Zoom, but apparently everybody got in, so we're on. I was on that problem end at 7 a.m. not being able to.
What did it look like? What did it say, Marilyn? What did the issue say?
Oh, it said nothing. It just people try to, and when I start on my side, it looks like it's all working, but people who tried to join in on the Zoom could not join in. So I knew right away there was a problem. But fortunately, I think it's fixed. So aquí vamos, here we go. If we get cut off, you'll know it wasn't me. It was,
Okay.
yeah, para que sepan, just so you know, para que sepan. Bien. Vale, bueno, vamos a empezar. Okay. Quick announcement. Oh, yes, fall classes. Registration is open as of this morning. So Scottsdale has got all, so, not just this class, but all other classes. Some of you may have in-person classes that have like a set number, if you get beyond 15 people, they close the class. So just know, if you have other classes with Scottsdale, mine do not close for enrollment, but some do.
It's only open today already for Scottsdale residents.
Yeah, for Scottsdale residents only. If you live outside the
I think it opens on
limits,
Thursday
then
for everybody
it will
else.
be tomorrow or the day after. That's
I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Well, I'm still a Scottsdale resident, so I can go today and register.
That might be, yeah. So just know, if you're not a Scottsdale resident and you can't get in to register yet, it's not you. It's not Zoom. It's just that non-resident status, and give it a couple days till Wednesday or Thursday. You should be able to log in. Okay. Bien. And the other thing to keep in mind for fall signups. Fall is weird. Again, para que sepan otra vez, again, for fall, if you do only one registration, you will not be done, because they split fall into two separate sessions. One runs from September to basically the end of October, like I think October 28th or 30th, or 31st, something like that. And then the second fall session starts in November through till about mid-December. So do know, if you only register once, that means you're probably in that September and October, but you may not be registered in the later. So, and that, I'm sure, is to accommodate the migration patterns of snowbird culture. So that's the odd thing I always have to remind people about regarding registration, so that there are two registrations necessary for fall. Okay. A ver. Muy bien. Vamos a practicar. I have my fun little caveat here. Oh, and people are digging in. Great. So Zoom is working. Funciona. It works. Bien.
Daniel.
Sí, ok. ¿Pueden ver la foto del hombre rubio con los ojos azules? Sí. Interesting. You guys, can you see that on the share screen? Did that work?
Yes.
I don't trust Zoom today because
with his big eyes.
Zoom issues, not me issues. Mi sistema no tiene la culpa.
And we can use Zoom as an excuse for when we don't remember some Spanish word.
There you go. Yeah. And now, interesting, the share screen on, and I can see your faces. For the last 2 months, I've not been able to do that. Let's see if that continues to work.
Please excuse my bad hair day.
Oh, bad hair day, but different reason. Okay. See, me. Okay. First of all, I would really like to know. I'm sure this is AI generated. Don't you think? See, AI generated animation. ¿Por qué son viscos? Why is everyone cross-eyed in this video? Okay. I'm sensitive to this issue, having have been a kid who was literally cross-eyed at the age of 2. So
Nice.
I am kind of sensitive to that issue. Okay. Pero, bien. Fue un video muy corto. It was a really short video. But what I want you to notice, and they did a lot of repetition, but again, they're using all these simple verbs. So I want you to notice the difference between these kind of vanilla flavor, ordinary verbs that do the patterns like quieren, and actually even that isn't strictly vanilla flavored verb because it has a stem change, but quiere also has a stem change, but you know how to use it. See. Ve películas, he watches movies, cocina pasta, camina en el parque. These are all the vanilla flavor kind of easy verbs to use that follow the patterns. But then every once in a while they'll throw in an encanta or gusta. So that is the pattern we want to plug in. Quiero saber, I do want to know if you've got any questions about any structure that didn't make sense or any vocabulary that didn't make sense in that little brief video, or no? ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Is there any kind of question?
So the word applicación, when you translate it, it translates into app, not application.
App is just a short version of application.
Sí,
Okay.
sí. Los dos, right, sí.
Yeah.
It can talk about literally applying something, a surface to something else, or aplicación, in the workplace, or you do hear like the words for app to actually refer to an app. Like let's say you use Zoom on an app, you use, a dating app. Yeah.
No, we don't do that anymore.
I have heard people use, I've heard native speakers use both app because it's just borrowed in, or
Okay.
aplicación.
Okay.
So I've heard both. And I'm about to preview a video later today that I think may even give me a different. Have I yet? Well, anyway. Okay. So it does a mix of those two kinds of verbs. Okay, so what we want to kind of focus on is that in Spanish, and I'll have to make this a lot bigger because it's way too.
Marilyn,
Sí.
before you move on, you had asked if we had any questions there about.
Sí,
So I think I've got it after all the different times I've sat here and you've explained it to us. But I want to just let me play something back to you and make sure that I kind of got that. So it's the redundancy if you're trying to, with one of those gusta kind of verbs, if you're trying to you're trying to make sure you're saying who this applies to. So like in this video, Daniel, like in the screen you've got us looking at now, that Daniel likes to cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I want to make sure that if it's out of context, then I want to make sure we're talking about Daniel. I want to make sure I have kind of like where the different parts go correctly. So would it be something like a Daniel le gusta cocinar? So first would come the clarification of who you're talking about. And it's with the right?
Tienes razón. You are correct.
Okay, so Daniel for Daniel.
Daniel.
He likes to cook.
Sí, lo más normal Que suena natural, the thing that would sound natural to them, that would be the most frequently used word order thing would be to put in that with a person's name. Okay, or with a noun. Daniel. Al hombre rubio, the blonde guy, right? But something with and then the name of the person. And generally that will lead off the sentence for those verbs that are like gustar, like importar, or encantar, right? Or molestar. Entonces, por ejemplo, but the with the name, if you need a clarifier, and those are called clarifying phrases. All it means is that we have and the name of the person that we mean by le, or the person we mean by les, yeah? And it could even be a mí, to be redundant about the me gusta. It could be a nosotros, to be redundant, or to be emphatic about nos gusta. But normally where you really need it is when you're using le with gustar, or verbs like gustar, or les, because that les, those are the iffy pronouns. It could mean many different kinds of people. But normally the name of that person would lead off first. So it would be more natural to say, Daniel le gusta cocinar. Dan likes to cook. He likes to cook. Le gusta cocinar a Daniel. They'd understand you, but that's kind of weird word order. It doesn't have, it's not the usual correct word order. It's not what they're accustomed to hearing. We lead off with the person's name. Yeah. Buena pregunta. Good question, though, because that word order thing, some things are very flexible with word order, and some things not so much. And that gustar thing with a clarifying phrase, you want to put that name, and the name up front, generally. Buena pregunta. Really good question. Perfecto. Okay. Trying to see if we got a. Oh, yeah. Okay, like here, we didn't really need a clarifying phrase. They're talking about this Laura, yeah, right? This person. So because they've already named that they're talking about Laura, they don't have to repeat. Laura tiene 32 años. Laura is 31. They can just leave her name off. But if they did plug her name in, it would be tiene 32 años. A Laura le gusta pintar y correr. A Laura le gusta. Laura likes. Okay. And again, we only need that when we've got a le with one of those verbs or a les. Bien. And these are the verbs that are like gustar. There are other situations where you'll have an and it'll be following the verb. I can show you that at a later date, not for today, but maybe next week's class. It'll be a good time to zing that in. Okay. Buena pregunta. Hay otra pregunta. Is there any other question about anything in this? It's designed to be a really simple format story, and they just repeated it multiple times to make sure that everybody
Yeah, it was good.
got the story. Okay. Vale. Bien. Let's take that up. Let's take a look here. So I have given you both, but I want to focus on these main verbs, and I want to show you these are, a lot of times you can Google like what are the 50 most common verbs, what are the 100 most common verbs, and there's no way you're going to memorize all of those. You may have had an experience that you recognize all of them or almost all of them, but you don't want to pressure yourself if I must memorize everything. But notice how many of these frequent verbs, a lot of them are going to be irregulars. They're going to be a hefty number of the most commonly used verbs that wind up being irregulars. Either just irregular for the yo form, like maybe salir or dar. It's dar, to give, is regular for everything else. Das, da, damos, dan, but odd for yo, doy, D-O-Y, doy. And it's only regular for Joe. So you're going to see a number of things on this list of the of most common verbs that wind up being odd in one way or another, either stem changing irregularities or maybe just with the yo thing. Okay. And by the way, there's no definitive. This is the authority on whether the 50 most common or 100 most common. It's, whatever the creator feels, but they usually wind up being pretty true to form. Okay. Ser estar, obviously the two to be's. A ver, this one, please notice for what you guys do at this level, the only word you need to know is hay, H-A-Y. A ver is a real outlier in this group of 50 or 100 if you looked at the two files, most common verbs. A ver has a couple of jobs. One job is just to talk about what exists. And that means it is not personalized to yo or tú or nosotros. It only says that thing or those things, they are out there. They exist, right? The idea of there is or there are. So the only verb you need is hay for present. For past, what you're going to hear most of the time, a higher percentage, is había. So if you hear había, H-A-B-I with an accent A, había, that's just the past of I. So I could say, hay gente en el parque. There are people at the park, meaning they're there right now. Or había mucha gente en el parque. There were a lot of people at the park. Like I went yesterday and there were a lot of people. So you'll hear only hay or había. Haber has another job, a different job that is personalized, that will get conjugated for yo, tú, and all of those. And it is this second format that you see, the second example. It is as a paired, what they call compound tenses. So somebody has done something, or some people have done something, but that means haber has to work with yet a second verb. It can't stand by itself, right? To just talk about existence, I, which is what most of you, that's the function you need. This first example is the only one you need. Hay muchas estrellas en el cielo hoy. Es hermoso. Okay, there are a lot of stars. There are many stars. Okay, tener, very irregular, but we use it all the time, right? Tengo has a G-O for yo, and then it's got stem changes on the other ones, but not nosotros. So tener, muy común. Gustar, here's our outlier that won't get conjugated for yo, right? Won't get conjugated for tú. By the way, you can conjugate gustar for yo or tú, but then it's a come on. It's a line. You go to the bar. Some guy or gal walks up to you. Hey, good looking. I like the way you look. Can I buy you a drink? That's what gustar is used for. It's conjugated for yo, tú, or nosotros. Yeah, it means baby attraction. Okay, so you only want to use gustar as gusta. This thing is pleasing to me, or gustan. Those things are pleasing to me. Okay, so here is one of those outlier verbs, and we're sprinkling some of those in our practice this week. Encantar works the same way as gustar. So that's going to be kind of an outlier, but preferir, I need all the forms. Yo, tú, nosotros, all of them, right? Comer, I need all the forms. This one is a very regular verb. Preferir, this E in the middle, in the fer part, does get a stem change. Stem changes happen for everything except for nosotros. So, okay, preferir talks about what somebody prefers. Comer, regular. Hacer, Regular, para yo, no. Irregular for yo, but regular everywhere else, right? Hago is the yo form. And actually, they did a past tense here too, and that hiciste sure doesn't look like hacer, H-A,
Hacer.
changes to an H-I. So you can see how, a verb being irregular in Spanish does not mean it will always be irregular in all the other tenses. Something that is irregular in presente and present may not happen in past tenses or vice versa. It's just a thing as you go further in, you have to know. Decir muy irregular, digo, is one of the go verbs, it's a go for yo, but the other forms also get a stem change. The DE changes to a DI. Digo, dices, dice, dicen, and then it goes back to DEC for the nosotros form, decimos. So it is a stem change, but also an oddball in the yo category. Ir, irregular all over the place, right? Voy, VOY sure doesn't look like it comes from ir as a base form. Ver, pretty regular, muy regular. Yo keeps your form keeps the the little E sound there instead of getting rid of the E from the ER. Dar, we already told you what happens there. Doy, yo, irregular. Saber, sé, yo sé, I know. Irregular, everything else is regular. Sabes, sabe, sabemos, saben. Bien. Querer, our want verb, also can mean to love, especially when we're talking about friends and family. Gets that IE stem change, the QUE, and we're not focusing entirely on stem changes this week, but just so you know, you will hear that querer, the E there becomes an IE for a lot of those forms. Poder, can, meaning ability to do something, right? Has an O to a UE stem change. Llegar, normal.
Marilyn, can I
Sí.
stop you?
Sí, claro.
Can we go back to that saber, please, for a moment?
Which, saber?
Yeah,
Okay,
to know.
sí.
And I'm trying, I think it's conoce or conoso. How do you know which one to use? Because they
Which
both
one to
mean,
use for no, yeah?
yeah, which one do you use for
Buena
no,
pregunta.
no?
Buena pregunta. It's not too tough to figure out. Saber is to know when we're talking about information or how to do something.
Mhm.
Okay. Un ejemplo. Perdón. Sam, no sé tu número de teléfono. I'm sorry, Sam. I don't know your phone number. Phone number is just information. Yeah. No sé cuántos mascotas tiene mi vecino. No sé cuántas mascotas mi vecino tiene. I don't know how many pets my neighbor has. Okay, that's just information. No sé cuál es la capital de Tanzania. I don't know what's the capital of Tanzania. Ooh. Okay, that's all information. Or how to. Yo sé cocinar. I know how to. No sé hablar italiano. I don't know how to speak Italian. And we don't ever say the word how there. Or usually we don't. No sé hablar italiano. I don't know how to speak. That's all information. Conocer, which is a second, it's like the ser estar thing, only easier. There are two verbs for to be, ser and estar. There are two verbs for to know, saber and then conocer. Okay. Conocer, the other to know verb, is used to talk about knowing a person meaning you've met them. Okay. Also for knowing your way around a place. Knowing a place, meaning I'm familiar with that place. And really, conocer means to be familiar with. Okay. So if I talk about knowing a person, I could say, no conozco al nuevo vecino. I don't know the new neighbor, meaning I've never met him. No conozco al nuevo vecino. Okay. Bien, that's knowing a person. Conozco o conocemos conocemos a los invitados de la fiesta. We know the guests at the party. Conocemos a los invitados. We know the guests. Okay. That means we know people.
Okay.
And notice there's a little difference. I could say, no sé, I don't know, no sé, no sé quién, no sé quién es el actor en ese programa. I don't know who the actor is in that show. No sé quién es el actor. I don't know who the actor is. I can't come up with his name, right? But no conozco al actor means I've never met that actor face to face. See? I don't know him on a personal level. We also use conocer to talk about places, though. So you will hear this very commonly in conversation if you travel. You're in you're in Mexico City, and somebody wants to know if you're familiar with a certain neighborhood in Mexico City. They want to know if you've been there because maybe they'll send you there to explore a little bit. ¿Conoces Roma? Roma is a little like it's a neighborhood. A neighbor. It would be like saying Old Town. It's a certain part, Old Town was a part of Scottsdale.
Right.
It would be like saying that. ¿Conoces Roma? Have you been in Roma? Meaning, are you familiar with it? Do you know your way around that district? Right. So, and you can use conocer to talk a place that's a city, a state, a whole country, even a building. You know your way around that building. Bien. Por ejemplo, conozco el Museo de Arte en Phoenix. I know my way around the Phoenix Art Museum because I've been there before. Okay. So conocer for knowing your way around places and for human beings.
Okay.
Saber, information, how to.
Okay. I kind of thought maybe it was like car versus vehicle, where it's two different words, but that means the same thing.
No,
But
they're not interchangeable. I'll send you a little file on saber and conocer later on, Andrew. I'll send that just for you.
Thank you.
So do know that there are two to know verbs in Spanish. Saber being one of them. Okay, querer, poder, llegar, regular, perfectly vanilla verb, regular one. It's what we use to talk about getting to a place. Yeah. Deber, meaning you have to. Do know that this verb, even though it's very regular, it's kind of strong. Yeah. Strong in this sense. It talks about obligation and the focus on that word must. Must is very forceful. You must come at 8. If you use deber, it has that force, that feeling of must. Yeah.
Okay.
I know a lot of dictionaries will define deber as should or ought to, which is true. But if you say, especially to a Mexican person, debes llegar a las 8, You might mean from the dictionary, you might think from the dictionary that debes llegar means you ought to get here at 8, but what it really is conveying to that person is you gotta be here. Debes does this. Deber wags its finger at somebody. It conveys the idea of this is a non-negotiable. So be careful with deber. Okay. Poner. Regular, except for yo. Pongo. So you'll hear some of these go verbs in here. Creer, to believe. This verb here, you can say you have beliefs, let's say religiously or philosophically, but creer is often used for this one thing, which is applicable for you guys. Creer is often used as to express the idea of what do you think?
Okay.
¿Qué crees? ¿Qué crees? Literally, what do you believe? Is the conversational way people will ask, hey, what do you think about that? See? ¿Qué crees? ¿Qué crees del presidente? What do you think about him? What's your opinion? ¿Qué crees asks for somebody's opinion. Yeah. So that is the conversational use of creer for you guys, right? This example of yo no creo en fantasmas, I don't believe in ghosts, is okay, and it's an accurate thing. But the common way you'll hear this, you you taste a new dish at a restaurant for the first time, and somebody may, oh, ¿qué crees? What do you think? They're asking for your opinion on what you think that thing is like. Hablar, obviamente normal. Llevar, normal, right? Llevo, llevas, lleva, llevamos, llevan. Llevar is to take, to pick something up and move it. Yeah? To carry something, to take something or somebody from one place to another. Llevar, okay. Bien, traer is regular except for yo. Traigo, traigo. It's another one of those go verbs, okay? Traer is the flip side of llevar. Llevar is taking something to a place. Traer is bringing something to a place. When you get to the destination, they use traer. You'll probably need llevar more than you use traer. Pensar, stem change, i.e. stem change. Venir, stem change. Also, it gets a go for the yo only, but the go disappears for the other things. Okay. Llamar, regular, totally regular. See? Dejar, regular, totally regular. No oddball forms, right? Dejar has many meanings, by the way. We'll come back to that another time. Salir, regular, yo, go. It's another one of those go verbs for yo, but the go doesn't appear for the other forms, right? To leave, to go out, right? Is salir. Volver, a UE, the O changes to a UE, stem change, okay? Tomar, regular. Tomar is totally regular. Tomar is used for everything, many, many, many uses. You may say, how do you get for a definition of take and drink? If I take the bus or I take the subway or I take a cab, it's tomar, right? If I eat or drink something, it's also tomar. Why? I don't know. It just is. So tomar has a more than one usage. Here's our conocer.
Marilyn, can I ask a question about
Sí,
tomar?
sí, claro.
I know that one of the kind of ways of using it is tomar photos for
Sí,
taking
sí.
pictures,
Sí.
but and that one, okay, it works okay for me. But I always used to think that, or can one use hacer for photos to make pictures?
A veces, some people do. It depends on the region you're in. There are some places you will hear people use hacer. quiero hacer una foto. I want to make a photo meeting. I want to compose this with all these, hey, everybody line up kind of thing. Yeah, it might be. I think tomar is a little more common, but you know, it depends on where you're traveling.
So if you wanted to ask someone to take, like, you know, when you're traveling, to take my picture, please, you would usually use tomar.
tomar. Tomar is the safe, everybody understands it. Go-to verb. Yeah. Yeah. Take our picture, please. Yeah. You want to be in the, you don't have a timer on a tripod and you need somebody to take a picture. Sí. Sí, por favor, puedes tomar una foto de nosotros. Can you take a picture of us?
So Marilyn, is photo a slang word for
Foto?
photographic?
No.
No?
Photo is a shortened word,
Okay.
not a slang. Foto is actually shortened from fotografía.
Yeah, okay.
Fotografía is the formal long word, but fotografía takes a long time to say. Fotografía has a lot of syllables. So there are a few words in Spanish that get a cut off, yeah? Fotografía to photo is one. Moto instead of motocicleta is another one. Bici instead of bicicleta is another one. Sometimes you get,
Okay.
yeah, shortened words, right? And they're not slang, they're just shortened. It's accepted.
How about television? Is there
Tele, sí, eso
Tele.
también. Sí, claro. Tele instead of televisión or televisor, sí, en la tele. Vamos a ver la tele. We're going to watch the TV. We're going to watch TV. La tele. Exacto. Bien. Conocer, you've got there. Vivir, regular, very, very regular there. Sentir, to feel, i.e. stem change. Tratar, regular, very, very regular, to try. Yeah. And notice tratar needs that little de. Try to do something. We need that little word de. It doesn't translate to anything. It's just part of that structure. Trato de, and then an infinitive. Contar, to tell a story. To UE stem change, okay? Empezar, an E to IE stem change. This one you hear a lot. Empezar, to start, the most common verb for to start. We also have another verb, comenzar. It is an equivalent. You can use either comenzar or empezar, but empezar is more commonly heard, honestly. People use that more. Esperar, regular, totally regular vanilla kind of verb. Buscar, totally regular kind of verb, does what you think it should for conjugations. Existir, well, I would not have put that on the list, but okay, yeah, you can practice that to exist. Entrar, regular, totally regular. Trabajar, totally regular. Do know that trabajar, to work, is used for people who work, or let's say if you have a domesticated animal that does a job on the farm, like a horse. Yeah, trabajar can be used for that.
Sorry, could you back up to empezar?
Sí.
I just maybe I
Empezar.
wasn't maybe I missed it when you said that, but isn't that a stem changer?
Sí. Oh, perdón. Sí, yes, it is a stem changer. Sí. En present, it is a stem changer. Empiezo, I'm starting. El concierto empieza a las 8. The concert starts at 8. Sí, stem change, sí, perdón. Empiezan ¿a qué hora empiezas a tocar la guitarra? What time are you starting to play guitar? You're giving a concert again, something like that. Sí. Empezamos being the only regular one for nosotros one there. But so yes, an IE stem change there. Bien. Existe. Entra, regular. Trabajar. The one thing I want you to make sure you know, trabajar, to work for people. If we talk about a thing works, like your dishwasher works, your refrigerator works, your car does not work. Your headlights don't work, yeah? If you're talking about a mechanical or electronic object working, we do not use trabajar, but it is a very, very regular verb, and it's an easy one to learn, and it sounds like an English word. It sounds like function, except we don't do the in the function. Funcionar. So just know, if you want to say, si quiere decir, por ejemplo, si, mi tabla no funciona. My tablet's not working. Mi tabla no funciona. No funciona. Funcionar is used for mechanical stuff. See? Bien. Escribir, normal. Totally does what you think. Perder, which means either to lose or to miss, like a vehicle, missing a bus, missing a subway, missing a plane. Okay, perder. I.e. stem change on that one. Entender, I.e. stem change on that one. To understand, right? Pedir, to ask for something, to order something. I stem change, not an I-E, but an I. See? Recibir, normal. Totally follows the rule. Recordar, a UE stem change. Terminar, normal. Normal. No changes there. Suponer. Oh, yeah. Suponer, I would not have put on this list. I was kind of curious she put this on. To suppose or to assume. And this is the way you are likely to hear it. Se supone que somebody was supposed to. I don't think that's an essential one for you to learn, but again, these are subjective kind of lists. Permitir, normal. So these are all, you see on this list, even though these are what she rated, this teacher rated as top 50, you can see like a lot of these have odd things like little stem changes in the middle, meaning stem changes just meaning that an internal vowel also changes in addition to the conjugation ending that you're used to. But these are very pretty normal verbs, and there are only maybe 2 on this whole list of 50 that I would say, well, maybe I wouldn't put these on the top 50 list, but she did. Anyway, you may have wanted to take some of those to use for our practice, right? Bien? Or you could skip it. Right? Up to you. Oh, and now my screen, if you guys did disappear. Interesting. So there's doing some funky things. So here's our list that I sent to you. And we're going to look at our 2 example slides, and then we'll see what you've got for your next slides. And I have suggestions up here to show you 3 verbs. Well, actually, yeah, 3 verbs that we're using. And 2 of those are going to do the things where they conjugate fully for yo or tú or él, ella, usted or nosotros or ellas, es, ustedes. And the only one that is an outlier that is like gustar is encantar. We will not conjugate that one, encantar, as a yo kind of verb. It'll have the little pronoun in front to tell us who loves something, but it'll always be encanta or encantan. Everything else, I have to look at who I'm talking about. In this case, a little kid. El niño hace un dibujo. The kid is making a drawing. El niño hace un dibujo. Right? Or I can just use dibujar, meaning draws. El niño dibuja. Hace and dibuja have to be conjugated for talking about one person. In this case, el niño, a kid. Right? These are what we call a kind of a vanilla verb. They get all the different conjugations to tell who is doing the action. And you may even if somebody just shows you that picture, they may drop this term at the beginning, el niño. They may leave out the word el niño if they just show you the photo, and they may just say hace un dibujo and let that stand by itself. Or dibuja. he's drawing. And they may leave out el niño if the context of looking at a photograph is a common experience to everyone, okay? But then, le encanta dibujar. Le encanta dibujar. To him, that's the le word. Encanta. It's enchanting, but we wouldn't say that in English because it sounds goofy. Dibujar. To him, it's enchanting to draw. We just say he loves draw. But the structure they use is le encanta dibujar. You could say al niño. You could lead off with al niño. Le encanta dibujar. To give more context to that. Okay. So I've got two normal verbs. They use all the different conjugations. One that you only uses in encanta or encanta. Okay? I've got now ir, salir, vender, interesar. That purple one is our outlier. It will be used only as interesa or interesan. So, muchas personas van al festival. Many people go or are going to the festival. Salen a la calle. They go out into the street. See? Those are normal kind of verbs, right? They use all the conjugations. Los vendedores, the sellers, the people at that fair, right? Los vendedores venden comida. They're selling food, right? Those verbs all have to be conjugated for whoever does an action. But then here's my outlier. A las personas les interesa caminar. People are interested in walking. En la calle durante el festival. People are interested in walking around the street during the fair. Okay? And this will always be either interesa or interesan. Never a yo form, intereso. Never an, well, interesar can be used as interesarse, but that's going a little beyond. You're going to hear this often, the me interesa. Okay, that's the point. Let's take a look at what we've got. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. Un poquito más grande. Bien, 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 bien. And I gave you a whole bunch of verbs we might be able to use. Esperar, to wait. Tener, to have. Buscar, to look for. And we don't need the word for, just buscar. It's all wrapped up. That for idea is wrapped up in buscar. And then the outlier, the importar. Okay, let's see if we can create some sentences to talk about this picture. Yay. And I'm sorry, now it did disappear, everybody, so I cannot see you guys on the screen. Anybody who wants to start and build me a sentence that you did for this?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Es importante hablar sus médico.
Okay. Do you want to say it's important to talk to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're not using importar. I'll show you why, but then we'll tweak it and we will use importar. So let's look here. Importar, that kind of base idea, can be turned into the word importante, which is no longer a verb. It's just a descriptive, and it means important. Importar means it is important or it matters. So you can use importante, which is a describing word, an adjective word, but then we have to use it with es. Here's our verb. Es importante. Okay, un ejemplo. Es importante hablar con el médico. That's a valid thing to say. Bien? Okay. That makes sense. Everybody would understand you. Es importante hablar con el médico. That works. Now, if I want to say, it matters to her to make an appointment, yeah, it's important to her, it matters to her, then I need to use importar. Or it's, okay, let's show how it will be structured differently with importar. Le importa, and let me name somebody in this picture. Let's name the lady with the walker, because obviously she's got a walker, she's having some problems getting around. A la mujer.
Looks like
Yeah, so let's name a la mujer. And so I'm going to name which person I'm talking here. And I'm going to say who I mean when I use this word le. I'm going to say it's important to her. It matters to her. A la mujer le importa hablar con el médico. A la mujer le importa hablar con el médico. Here are the two words that have to string together. They have to both be there. Le importa. It matters to her to get in and talk to the doctor. Okay. But I can't use just importa without a little pronoun in front of it. Le importa. It matters to her. ¿Entiendes? Understand?
Yes.
See? Okay. Importa by itself would sound funny because somebody doesn't know who it's important to. I could also say me importa. Hey, it matters to me to get in there. Nos importa. It matters to all of us. I could be talking about both the guy and the lady sitting in the chairs. Les importa. It matters to them. Okay. So any of those things would be valid. I could change this to, por ejemplo, a los pacientes les importa hablar con el médico. A los pacientes les importa. It matters to them. And the les tells us who it's important to, a bunch of people, okay? That importar is not a vanilla type verb. We don't conjugate it for yo or nosotros. We conjugate it for it's just importa or importa. Okay. Bien. So that's the hard one. What are some other things we can use to talk about what we see happening in this photo with the regular type verbs?
I'll try one.
Bien.
I hope I have to look up one word. I'm guessing that the ladies in the blues, in the blue are nurses.
Sí, sí.
And is nurse la enfermera?
Sí, las enfermeras.
Okay, so las enfermeras buscan información en el pantalla.
Ah, bien, perfecto. They're looking at screens. One has a little, una aplicación. She's got some kind of app, see, en la tabla on her tablet, see. Y la otra tiene una computadora, see. Las enfermeras, and now I'm talking about a couple of them. So I've got to make it a plural form of a verb, but it can't have a yo element in it, right? Because they are doing this. I'm not in the action with them. Las enfermeras buscan, they're looking for. Buscan información. They're looking for information en la pantalla, on the screens. The screens they have. Perfecto, perfecto. Buscan. Vanilla kind of verb. Normal, muy normal. Very normal kind of verb. We have to conjugate it to say this group of people, they're doing this action. Perfecto. Bueno, otro ejemplo. Any other example with a normal kind of verb? Okay, por ejemplo, ¿cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? Two people are waiting. Two people are waiting.
True.
¿Cómo se dice? Two people are waiting.
Dos, dos gente. Um,
Let's make it a dos personas.
okay.
Two people, dos personas. And what do we do with esperar, waiting?
Then I am to turn in this honey, and I don't know how.
Esperando.
Turn in this honey.
Well, instead of esperando, ando is that ing, but present tense does the same thing as that ando, right? So we take esperar, we take off the AR, and we just put a plural ending on it. Can't be a nosotros plural because I'm not in the picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there something I could start
It's got to
on?
talk about more than one person, which means we add that N, that N.
Some of the easy stuff we can
That
do.
N tells you it's more than one person.
Okay.
Okay. And the A tells you it's from an AR verb. So this ending at the end of AN tells you, oh, it's just an AR verb. It's esperar. So esperan, they're waiting. And notice, esperan means they're waiting.
I'm gonna get to, I think we'll start.
We can also pair up two verbs to say están esperando. That's what you're using first. Ando is an ing, but it really has that meaning of it's happening right now as we speak Spanish. So it is meant to convey right now as we're talking. And because we're just looking at a static picture, probably that isn't happening right now. But in English, we would use that ing very, very commonly. In Spanish, they don't use the ing all the time unless we really mean, hey, right now. So we just take present tense and that carries that idea. Esperan means they wait, they do wait, they are waiting. That's the way we'll most commonly say it in English. Dos personas esperan en el consultorio or en la oficina. Bien? Okay. Dos pacientes, dos personas esperan en las sillas. Bien. Any other things? ¿Cómo se dice? How would you say this? I want to talk about the patients who are waiting, okay?
Mhm.
I want to say they have problems. I want to use tener, have. I want to say they have problems. ¿Cómo se dice? Pacientes?
Tennis.
Tienes would mean tienes, T-I-E, because tener is that little I-E thing in there. Tienes would mean I'm talking to you personally. I want to talk about them. These two people. I'm not in on the action here. So an S won't necessarily mean plural when I put it on a verb all the time. Okay, cuidado. This N thing will tell me more than one person. But now I got an ER verb instead of an AR verb. So that vowel will have to carry over. But instead of an AN, it'll be a
En.
there you go. Okay, so let's take tener. And now we have to have this little odd thing in there because this is a super common verb. Not tenen, but
Tienen.
tienen. Okay, now we're going to add on what they have. They have problems. Los pacientes tienen
Más problemas.
problemas. Los pacientes tienen problemas. Los pacientes tienen problemas. They have problems. ¿Sí? Bien. Okay. Interesante. Interesting. Tener dolor means to be in pain. to be in pain. So I could say they are in pain. Tienen dolores. Tienen dolores. Tienen dolores de la rodilla, de las rodillas. Oh, they've got knee pain, or whatever body part it is. Okay. Bien, tener. Okay, I can even use tener.
Madeline,
Sí, Marcos.
check my memory now, but because I remember when I was getting my knees done, is doler is kind of like a gustar verb.
Which verb like gustar?
Doler,
Oler?
like
Doler.
doler.
Oh, doler. Okay. Okay. Let's put this up here. Vale la pena. Oh, this is really worth a look. It gives us a different verb.
Oh, is
This
it
means
dolar or
to
doler?
cause pain. But it is like gustar. Sí, doler. Doler means to cause pain.
So like
In English, we would say something like, my knee hurts.
right.
My hand hurts. My head hurts. My head hurts. Okay? And that will be a verb like gustar. Let's take a look how that works. It'll look like this importar structure. Okay? I might say, a la mujer. Let's go back to just the lady. A la mujer. What hurts? Maybe one knee?
Sharon know what she's taking.
One knee? Let's say one knee hurts her. A la mujer le duele la rodilla. That lady, her knee hurts. Only one knee is hurting.
That's what I was trying to get to when you were bringing up the patients and
Sí.
problems. Yeah.
Okay. Le duele. Doler is one of those verbs that works like gustar. Something is aching somebody, right? Me duele, it hurts me. Me duele la cabeza, my head hurts, right? But it'll be
if it
duelen
was
if it's more than one. Let's say both her knees are given out. And if it's las rodillas, knees, instead of only one knee, then I have to do something with this verb to say both those knees are aching. And that means I slap an N on the end of that. Duele. But the le tells who feels the pain. The le tells who feels the pain. A la mujer le duelen las rodillas. Both her knees hurt. Le duelen. Le duelen. Okay. If only my head hurts, I only got one head. Right? So, my head hurts. Me duele la cabeza. My head hurts. ¿Te duele la cabeza? Does your head hurt? See? Bien. So, the body part, the part of your body that is causing the pain, that determines if it's duele, you only got one head, or duelen, you got two knees, right? Or
if we wanted to turn that negative, like you asked, does my head hurt? I would say no, my head does not hurt. Would the no come before the me or
the
after?
no comes before, right? No me duele la cabeza. Sí, exacto. If we want to say it's not happening, no me duele la cabeza. No me duele. It doesn't hurt. Ya no me duele. It doesn't hurt anymore. Dos Tylenol, sí, tomé dos pastillas de Tylenol y ya no me duele la cabeza. My head doesn't hurt anymore. No me duele. Bien, perfecto. Okay, vale. Good verb to use for that. Buen verbo. Okay. ¿Cómo se dice? How would we use hablar? Here's a real vanilla kind of verb. The two nurses are talking. And hablar conjugates just like all the yo, the tú, the nosotros, the él, ella, all those forms. ¿Cómo se dice? The nurses are talking.
Las enfermas.
Enfermeras.
Habla, no, hablamos.
Hablamos means we're doing it. How do I say they're doing it?
Hablan.
When I use hablamos, I put myself in the action
Right.
with other people.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something that's very much like this with hablar.
Hablan.
Hablan. Las dos enfermeras hablan. You might hear se hablan, they talk to each other. In that case, you might, and the se just means to each other. But las dos enfermeras hablan. Enfermeras, right? There's a real important thing. Enferma, a shorter word. Enferma means sick, a description. Ill, sick, enfermo. Like, estoy enferma, I'm sick. Because I'm female, it would be enferma. See? O, por ejemplo, mi esposo está enfermo. Enfermo. My husband is sick. Mi esposo está enfermo. But to say nurse, a person who does a job with sick people, we take enfermo, but we gotta like change that back end part, because now instead of being a description of I feel ill, right? Enfermo, it's enfermera. Enfermera, the ERA tells a person who works with sick people. Enfermeras. Enfermeras. Okay? Yeah, we have to add on, because if you just use enfermo or enferma, they're going to think you're talking about a sick person, right? La enferma means the sick woman, but enfermera is a person who works with sick people, okay? A nurse, ¿bien? Vale, okay. Bueno, ¿alguna pregunta? Any question about anything we did in that example, or no? No? Normal? Let's move on. Let's move on. Aquí tenemos una familia. We've got a family here. Let's leave encantar out of the picture now. Let's look at more general verbs. We're looking at llevar, to take, like bring stuff in, yeah, carry. Dar, give. And poner, to put something in a place. Let's see if we can build some sentences to talk about these people. Or you may only pick one person out of that group to talk about. La mamá, el papá, el niño, la niña, la familia, all the family, ellos, they. You can plug anything in there. Okay. A ver. Let's take a regular one, leave encantar out for now. Por ejemplo, for example, I'm going to talk about the mom and dad, and I'm going to use a little more colloquial way. I could say los padres, the parents, but I'm going to make it a little more friendly way than parents. I'm going to say mom and dad. Los papás. Los papás means the mom and dad. Instead of mother and father or parents, it's mom and dad. Los papás. ¿Cómo se dice? The mom and dad take the food into the kitchen. They're bringing the food in the kitchen. Because we got some grocery bags sitting there.
Los papas lever. Papas.
Let's take this. Llevar.
And
It's a nice regular verb. No funny stuff with that one. It'll need that first part, but we'll need one little letter to say more than one person doing this action. Los papás
llevan
llevan bien la comida a la cocina. They're taking it to the kitchen. Took it out of the car, right? Bringing it in from the car into the kitchen. Los papás llevan la comida a la cocina. Llevan la comida a la cocina. Okay.
ir a las cocinas.
Llevan. Llevar means to pick something up and move it from one place to another.
Llevar.
Or we use it also to take people in a car. Same thing, like you take them to the, in the car to take the kids to the park, take grandma to the doctor, whatever,
Right.
let me say, whatever. Okay. Yay. Let's say we're going to take dar. Let's say the dad, only one person. The dad is giving the bananas to the kid. ¿Cómo se dice the dad?
El padre.
El padre or el papá, but let's say padre. El padre. And now we're going to say he's giving. That is very, very regular for one person doing it. And that, we just take the AR off the end. We have only that D left. I need just a little vowel to tell one person is doing it. There you go. El padre da. And now we're going to need to talk about the thing he's giving. Da la banana al niño. Bien. Okay.
Yes.
Bien. Does that make sense? See? Okay. Let me go back to that. I'm going to show one little thing we're going to add. I'm going to show one little thing we're going to add to it that will make it sound a little more natural. This is a perfectly good sentence. El padre da la banana al niño. I'm telling what he's giving, la banana, right?
Mhm.
Al niño, who's getting the banana, right? To make it really sound a little more natural, we need something that sounds like it's going to be part of this structure, this encantar. This is another way you're going to hear this little word, le. Le is used not just with verbs like gustar or verbs like encantar. This little pronoun, le, is often used with some verbs like dar, right? The le tells me I've got al niño coming up at the back end. I'm giving him. And this is what we call an indirect object pronoun. That little word le is an indirect object pronoun. But in this case, this is not like le encanta.
People threw out.
It is telling me that somebody is on the receiving end of that verb da. So you may frequently hear dar paired up with a pronoun like le. And that means I'm telling who we're giving it to with a little pronoun. El padre le da la banana al niño. You can say the le da. That sounds a little more natural to a Spanish speaker. You might ditch the le and it still makes sense, but it sounds a little more natural using the le. Okay, but this part here, the da, is a perfectly regular verb, regular form that matches padre. Dar is an AR verb, yeah. It's a regular verb. I take off the AR. I've just got the a vowel hanging off the end, yeah, or slapped onto the end to tell one person is doing it. El padre da la banana al niño. Okay. See? Okay. Let's take poner. Poner means to put, to set out. Put something on top. Okay. Let's pair up the idea of poner with frutas, because I see fruits, like pieces of fruit in their hand. Okay. And I'm going to say they're putting fruit on the counter. En el mostrador. Okay. Good. What they're putting out, what they're setting out, frutas, that's a thing. En el mostrador just tells where they're putting frutas. It's all the en el mostrador text. ¿Cómo se dice? What do I do with this verb poner? To talk about somebody putting fruit someplace. Is one person doing the poner? Is only, or are many people doing the poner? One person
Well,
or a bunch?
The father's giving the bananas to the child.
Okay.
And so I'd say two people.
Okay. So if you want to say a couple people are putting fruit out, what do I do with that verb poner to say more than one person is doing that? I've got to get rid of this ER off the end of poner. But keep in mind it's an ER verb, and I want to say they're putting fruit on the countertop.
Is it ellas ponen?
Sí, ponen frutas en el mostrador. Ponen frutas en el mostrador. They're putting fruit on the countertop. Ponen frutas en el mostrador. Okay. Muy bien. Muy bien. Vale. And we can't use a ponemos because I'm not in the middle of this action, right? I can only make it a ponemos, we're doing it, if I am doing this with somebody else, if I'm doing this with the people in this group. Okay? See?
Mm-hmm.
The ponemos puts me in the middle of the action, and it means I'm not doing something by myself, that I have other people doing this with me. But I'm not in the middle of this picture. I'm talking about everybody in this picture. So more than one person, pone. If it was only one person, pone. Pone with an E at the end of that verb, pone, right? See? Bien? Okay? Vale.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at, let's do something with this other verb that is the outlier, the encantar. Encantar, I have to use it as either encanta or encantan. What shall I do? What if I want to say, oh, they love fruit. They love fruit. I'm going to use la fruta.
Ellas encantan la fruta.
If I'm going to use encantan, I have to make this las frutas.
Las frutas.
Ah, bien. And I can do that. I can do that. Okay. I want to say they love or she loves. What do I want to say here? They love?
Um,
What little pronoun do I need in front?
les.
Les. Bien. Les encantan las frutas. Les encantan las frutas. If I were to use changes to just singular, like that real like, sometimes we say fruit, las frutas would mean they've got a whole bunch of fruit components, and that's fine. Está bien, that's fine. But if I were to make this la fruta, I would have to make this encanta, right? That word, whether it's la fruta, a singular thing, or las frutas, plural, drives what we do with that verb encanta. See? Bien? Make sense? Make sense? See? ¿Está bien?
Sí. Sí. It's
Okay.
a little challenging.
A little challenge. The encanta is challenging?
The whole concept of making sentences.
A whole concept, yeah. So now I want you to notice something. More verbs fall into this category of I just conjugate to tell who's doing the action, right? You have to kind of get a feel for which kinds of verbs will do this thing that encantar does. That's why I put it off in the purple, so you would know, okay, it's in that funny category of like gustar, yeah? And that's why I categorize that with a kind of a color-coded idea tagged onto it. Okay, vale. Bien. Let's take a look at this. Wow, ¿dónde están? Oh, están en Suiza. They're in Switzerland. Están en Suiza.
There's a what?
Are you wearing the?
This is a big old
Progressives.
picture, so I'm going to make
Well,
this a little bit
yeah.
smaller. So we can actually have some room to write. But I wanted to make it a little bit bigger for you to look at it for homework. Yeah? Vale. Okay. There are a lot of things going on in this picture. There are people walking around, caminar. There are people taking pictures, tomar fotos. Oh, there are people sitting down. It's almost got that kind of Oktoberfest kind of feel. Sentarse is a little bit odd because it's got that say. So I don't know, maybe we want to skip that for now. But oh, you know what? A lot of people eating and drinking. So let's focus on our regular kind of verbs here. Tomar, eating and drinking stuff. Tomar fotos, taking pictures. Caminar, walking. Okay, bien. Also, ver. Wow, people just seeing stuff. And we'll leave the encantar off for now. Let's see if we can build some sentences to talk about what people are doing in the picture. Anybody want to take a shot? Focus on the easy ones first, not the encantar.
Les come, drop the A or the R off and then les caminan
Okay.
for their walking.
Okay. Let's let's make this more specific. Caminan is right. Caminan is right. They're walking. Let's say the men in the band. Got a band here. See? Los hombres de la banda. Caminan. Los hombres de la banda caminan And let's say in the street. ¿Cómo se dice in the street?
En calle.
En la calle. Los hombres de la banda, I'm just being really specific that I'm focusing on the guys marching, right? Los hombres de la banda caminan en la calle. If I only said caminan en la calle, you could probably assume I'd mean los hombres, but no, it's more than one person doing it, right? Caminan. I can't really use caminamos because I'd be putting myself into that picture though, right? Caminamos means I'm in there with them doing that. Caminamos, we're walking instead of they're walking. Caminan en la calle. Bien, vale. Okay. Let's talk about, there's a guy with an orange backpack here. And he's taking a picture. And I'm not going to call him el niño because he's too big to be el niño. El chico. El chico con la mochila. The kid with the backpack. Con la mochila. El chico con la mochila. He's taking a picture. ¿Cómo se dice he's taking a picture? We're going to look at tomar fotos.
Se
What do I
tome.
do?
Es,
Sí,
Tome.
otra vez.
es tomar.
And I don't need any S in there. I just need to take tomar. I'm saying this one kid is taking a picture. El chico con la mochila
Toma
toma,
las fotos.
toma fotos. He's taking pictures. Sí, de la banda. That's what he's taking pictures of, de la banda, the band. El chico con la mochila, the guy with the backpack on, toma fotos de la banda. He's taking pictures of the band, right? What if I want to say all the people, todas las personas, all those people are taking pictures. Now that tomar has to change a little bit to say, it's not just the kid with the backpack. They're all taking pictures. Todas las personas
Toman.
toman fotos de la banda. All the people are taking pictures. Toman needs to change form because now it's telling me that everybody there is doing that action, not just the kid with the backpack. I'm talking about everybody on the sidelines. Toman fotos de la banda. ¿Sí? Bien? Okay, vale. I'm getting close to my 11 o'clock time here. So I want to use just one encantar, just one, before we run out of time, because some of you may have time limits here. Bien. Let's say I want to say they love the parade. La parada. La parada.
Le encanta.
How do I say they love the parade?
Ellos.
That's.
I'm going to lead it off with an a ellos. A ellos. And now I need a little me, te, le, nos, or les.
Les.
Les. A ellos les
Encantan.
encanta. And encanta, they just love one thing. They love the event, right? La parada is one thing. La parada, the parade is one thing. See, a ellos les encanta la parada. Literally, the parade is enchanting to all of them. So all of them is the les part. The encanta is they love one thing, the parade, the event. Les encanta la parada. Les encanta la parada. If I just want to be a little more specific, a ellos in front of it. A ellos les encanta la parada. See? Bien? Good? See? I'm going to have you continue on doing that some more for next week with the next photos, and I may add some fresh ones on after that. See? Bien? Okay? Vale. Muy bien. I'm going to give you another video to watch just for listening, for the sake of listening. See? Bien? Not necessarily tied to this set, but we're going to continue on with these, but different pictures la semana que viene, next week. See? Bien? Bien. Fantástico. Fantástico, fantástico. And I'll give you some verb suggestions to do with that later for next week. Magnifico.